Now, during a press conference this week, Texas Governor Greg Abbott blamed the mass shooting at the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, is due to mental health issues. Explain how law enforcement believe that behind these types of attacks is a growing prevalence of people with mental issues and the need for more mental health support.
Now, to delve more into the topic from a psychological point of view, we are now connected to clinical psychologist who is also the CEO and co-founder of Personal Growth, Ratih Ibrahim. Good morning, Ratih, or shall I say good evening all the way from the United States?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Well, it is very, very much an honor that I can attend to this morning show, even though it's really getting dark here in the United States. I'm now in Portland, Maine, USA.
The
So
time
it's
difference,
direct
right?
communication, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Definitely time difference and distance.
Well, you know, this is the best thing about technology. We're glad to have you here. But we have our very first question because we're just baffled because every time a mass shooting seems to happen in the United States, the first thing that's being mentioned is, of course, the mental health issue. Now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has mentioned before I said that the Uvalde school shooter specifically also had a mental health challenge. Now, my interesting question would be, first of all, what is your take on this?
Well, definitely we do care a lot about mental health. And in Indonesia, the government also take this issue very seriously. I mean, mental health is something that very, very seriously taken care by the government. And regarding to what happened in the United States, especially in Texas, recently the shooting, what happened in Texas, mental health is something that mentioned as the prior cause of any aggression and such incident that happened.
Yeah.
So I read the news here, the media, we can call that they really put mental health issue as the cause of why this very horror incident happened. And it also said that the suspect also has that antisocial behavior and any kind of the not normal that shown in their everyday action.
And behavior, right. Now, but I think
Yes.
just a little fact on this Tuesday incident in Uvalde, Texas is the 30th shooting in the 2022 year alone. I mean, if we remember that happened in Sandy Hook Elementary in Connecticut just a decade ago,
Yes.
Adam Lanza killed 20 kids of the age of 7 to 10. Now, you were talking about the gunman that happened, or who just killed, kids from 7 to 10 years old, Salvador Ramos in Uvalde, Texas, and Robb Elementary. Now, what do you think, from your point of view and psychological point of view, the circumstances can trigger? They're not child anymore. Adam Lanza is 20, Salvador Ramos is 18, so they're from young adults merging to adults. And for them to, do this act of violence, it's just so heinous right now to see this kind of act.
Yeah. Actually, this is something that's very, very sad and very horror that happened in the society. What happened in the United States actually has the possibility that might happen also in our country. And regarding to people here, they have a big concern about this. And when we said that, this is not the first time happened here.
No, yeah.
So I do really hope that it will never happen in Indonesia.
Yeah.
And when we see the suspect who did this, even at the previous happenings, we cannot say that it might of the puberty event or etc. But I can see how this people somehow brought up in not healthy family, not healthy.
Correct.
How you said that, the friendship, the life in every daily life, yeah. Usually they are becoming someone who we know as the outcast in the
Yes.
society,
Yeah.
invisible people that no one probably even recognize and underappreciate them, so they are becoming invisible person. And it might that is a compensation, the anger, the hatred grow inside them, so it's like a reflection of compensation that they want to do to show the existence. But yesterday, I read from a newspaper, a New York Post. It's also mentioned that how young people nowadays being read or saw
Yeah.
too much hatred news,
Yep. Yep.
and by the internet, the show and etc. that broadcast many hatred about racism, hate speech, and isolation to some group of people and etc etc. And the way how we do the parenting to our children, which we don't bring them into respect to everybody and put humanity,
Yeah.
equality in our parenting, it's also might affect
Yeah.
the way the children perceive about the other human being and put everything as precious as their self, included how they accept their self as a precious human being.
Yeah, and we know in the United
Wow.
States it's very polarized, right?
Yep.
You see maybe they see the parents,
Yes.
let's say they root for a Republican Party or a Democratic Party,
Yep.
and they don't really, like what Ratih said, really teach them about humanitarian, to respect each other, even though they have like different choices in life.
Yeah, but I think that happens
Yeah.
everywhere because even in Indonesia, we're somewhat polarized within families. But what I find is that it's also one of the things perhaps that could contribute to that. Now, speaking of children, right? Everybody's concern is, of course, these are little children who are affected. And one of the things that is mentioned is, according to the Every Town for Gun Safety Support Organization, some 95% of U.S. elementary school apply an active shooter drill policy, or drills to rescue from gun attacks. Now, it's very, very unusual for us here in Indonesia because in Indonesia, we have, earthquake drills, fire drills, of course, and to hear that there are children in this world who have to go through shooting drills, don't you think they're also being affected by this? I mean, somewhat traumatizing.
Well, somehow, if we want to talk about the normal parenting and the normal way we bring our children, it's somehow shocking to us because it is something that's very, very unusual. But regarding what happened here, so people here try to anticipate and give perspective to the children to take care of themselves and self themselves. So this kind of action, I think it's also important to give to the children here. Actually, I remember that how we also has to prevent the aggression or such thing like this happen in Indonesia. So we really has to take care of the way we introduce our children to life, which uh, we used to see the parade that young children at the toddler who do the parade bring guns and etc. This is something that's very, very not good. So we have to aware with we give to our children, but here it is a necessity.
Yeah. But I think on falling to these questions regarding, children, or people that is under 8 or above 18 can have the rights to own a gun, especially in the United States because of the Second Amendment itself. Why do you think that they chose elementary school as a target for them to do these acts of violence? Because we see a lot of the shootings from kindergarten to elementary school. What is behind this from your point of view, Mbak Ratih?
Because actually, this kind of act is to show off power. So if they go to the other more adult or common people, they will recognize the tendency quickly. Young children, the younger the age, are
Yeah.
the most helpless individuals. So regarding to what we saw, it is really the way how they show power, about intimidation, about compensation, to make him feel like they have power on someone's else life.
Yeah.
So we have to be very, very careful in that.
You know,
And be very, very aware of that.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, we've spoken about, I mean, the shooters themselves are still very young people. I mean, now Salvatore
Adults.
Ramos is
Young
is
adults,
just
yeah.
young adults, right?
Yeah.
He's just basically passed his teenage years and just officially became a legal adult in the United States. My question is, how important is a good relationship between the parent and the child in developing the child's mental health or just barrier formation? And also my most important question, how do you deal, I mean, like, when children have the tendency to become, antisocial and through various triggers, of course, how do we as parents help prevent that from happening?
Well, actually, antisocial behavior or trait is not just happen at one day. It's something that growing in them. So when we say that probably it's heritage in them, it's probably 0.00% of our population who have that tendency. But most of our children actually becoming somebody because of the way we bring them in the family.
Yeah.
So parenting, definitely parenting has a very significant, super significant role to help our children to grow as a good individual with compassion, with empathy, with a social skill, and how they can put themselves as a good person, worth enough,
Yeah.
and self-respect, and also bring that respect also to the other people equally. So what happened now is, let's go back to our family, take care of them, love them, and do communicate with our children, accept them, listen to them. Sometimes as parents, we think that we know them better than themselves. Actually, what we have to do is have the awareness and being humble
Yeah.
to be able to open our heart and listen more to them heartfully, fondly, and kindly.
I agree.
They will
Wow.
talk to us,
Yeah.
and we can learn from them. We can be the better parents from our children.
Yeah.
Let's start from our family.
And I agree with what you said about Ratih. And if we're putting apple to apple between the United States and America, we can't do that because we do have very different gun laws, right? And from United States and Indonesia. But bringing the situation back to Indonesia right now, if like Kaya said, you have a child that is antisocial, we can say, let's say, if our child is indifferent, right? Maybe they're alone. They like to be alone at times, as opposed to be a social person and whatnot. But we see like there's a lot of there's a lot of figures that they're not social butterflies, but they can make it in this world. You got Elon Musk, you got Mark Zuckerberg, and all those known people. Actually, they like to be composed by themselves. They like their own little bubble world. but they're providing something to the world. Now, how can we manage our children saying, okay, let's say you don't like to socialize, but you know your family loves you, and it's okay to be you. It's okay for you to be unique in your own way. How can a parent manage that, Ratih, and not really pushing their kids to do what they don't want to do?
Yeah, those distinguished people that you just mentioned is only small percentage in the human population. But human being, any living being, actually meant to be social. So it is very important for us to understand that as the basic need of a living being, included our children. So never let your children left alone as if that they are okay.
All right.
When they keep themselves too silent, we have to be aware of that. We can bring their friends and make like a baby club, a children club. COVID is almost fade away. So
Thankfully.
let's start to become more social.
That's right.
Yeah?
So that's the basic
Use
role
the
then,
technology
Ratih.
like us today.
Yeah.
Right.
And make the family as the warmest, safest place for them, so that they will be able to grow as a holistic human being with self-respect and happy. Loneliness is the most dangerous
Yeah.
disease experienced by human being.
Right.
So don't let our children feeling lonely. They have us as their children. Open our heart to our children.
Wow. All
Love the
right.
statement. That's very important.
Yeah.
Me as a new mother, I think I'm taking a lot of notes.
Yeah, I mean,
Taking
and
a lot
also
of
as a
notes.
parent, I guess that was the basic rule from Ratih, and
Yeah.
you know that you have to be an alert when
Yeah.
your children felt like they're likely to be alone. Something where the parents, mother and both father, have to engage with their children.
Yes. Well, Ratih, thank
Yeah.
you so much for
Never
your time.
take for granted, yeah.
Yes.
Take it for granted.
Never take for
Correct.
granted. Ratih, thank you so much for going online
You're
with us
welcome.
all the way from the United States. Have a great evening and have a great rest.
And congratulations on your second born for
Graduation, that's right.
So
Thank you.
proud of him. You're a proud mama. Thank you so much, Ratih. Enjoy your
you.
time. Bye. We'll see you soon.